Reincarnation is your greatest failure. That's a bold statement, isn't it? But think about it. What if the very idea of being born again isn't a gift, but a reminder of lessons left unfinished? Every lifetime you've lived, every body you've inhabited, has been a chance to break free from the cycle. And yet, here you are. Why? Because life is more than just existing. It's about growth, purpose, and liberation. The Wheel of Samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, keeps turning for one reason. You haven't broken free. Desires, attachments, and ignorance, they're holding you down, chaining your soul to this eternal loop. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck. Hindu philosophy gives us profound tools and insights to untangle the karmic knots and escape this cycle. It's not about rejecting life. It's about mastering it, understanding its deeper purpose, and living in harmony with the truth of your existence. In this video, we'll explore the lessons the soul must learn to finally break free from the wheel of reincarnation. By the end, you'll not only understand why you're here, but also how to ensure you're not coming back. Before we dive in, though, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. These lessons are transformative, and together we can build a life of meaning and liberation. Let's get started. Lesson 1. The concept of reincarnation. Reincarnation isn't just a mystical idea. It's the reality of the soul's journey. Picture this. Your life as it is now isn't your first chapter, and it's far from your last. The soul, known as Atman in Hindu philosophy, is eternal. It moves from one body to the next, like a traveler swapping out old clothes for new ones. Think about it. How often do we say, "If only I had more time"? Well, the truth is, you've already had lifetimes of time, and every one of them has brought you to this moment. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why would a soul keep coming back? Simple, unfinished business. Desires, attachments, mistakes, and lessons unlearned are like luggage you can't check in. Until you let go of that baggage, you're destined to return. For instance, think of someone who spends their life chasing material success but never discovers peace. The soul comes back to try again, each life offering a fresh shot at wisdom. Here's something you can do today. Reflect on the things you're clinging to. Is it wealth, status, or even the fear of failure? Write it down. Ask yourself, if I were to start over, what would I do differently? Guess what? You are starting over, just one life at a time. And here's a little secret. Reincarnation isn't punishment. It's a process. It's like being given an infinite number of chances to get it right. But that means time isn't unlimited in each life. You're given these windows to discover your purpose and align with it. Miss it, and you're back in line for another spin on the Wheel of Samsara. But there's more to this story. If reincarnation is the cycle, karma is the fuel. And karma, it's not what you think it is. Lesson 2. Karma and reincarnation. Karma isn't just about what goes around comes around. It's deeper, more like the invisible hand that sculpts your destiny, shaping the life you're in now and the lives yet to come. Imagine planting seeds in a garden. Each thought, word, or action is a seed, and karma is the fruit that grows. Some fruits are sweet, others not so much. The kicker: you're always eating the harvest of seeds you planted long ago, maybe even in another lifetime. Let's break this down. If reincarnation is the cycle, karma is the energy keeping it spinning. Each action, good, bad, or neutral, adds a ripple to this massive ocean of existence. Ever wonder why some people seem to have all the luck, while others struggle endlessly? It's not random. Karma creates the conditions of your rebirth, where you're born, the opportunities you're given, and the challenges you face. For example, think about someone who seems naturally generous. Perhaps, in a past life, they spent their days helping others. That selflessness planted seeds that bloomed into an abundant life in this cycle. On the flip side, someone who clings to anger or greed may find themselves trapped in similar patterns, lifetime after lifetime. Here's where it gets practical. Want to hack your karma? Start with awareness. Reflect on your actions today. Did they create harmony or chaos? Let's say you've been short-tempered with a loved one. An apology could start planting better seeds. Or maybe you've been putting off a kind act, like donating to a cause or mentoring someone. Do it now. These small actions ripple forward into eternity. But karma isn't just about what you're doing. It's also about how you're doing it. Intent matters. Giving out of guilt, that's not planting a healthy seed. Acting from genuine compassion, now you're building a foundation for something beautiful, not just in this life, but the next. Here's the thing, karma doesn't forget, but it forgives. It's always giving you the tools to rewrite your story. And when you combine good karma with Dharma, your life's purpose, that's when real transformation begins. Lesson 3. The spiritual purpose of each reincarnation. Reincarnation isn't random. It's not some cosmic game of dice where you keep rolling until you strike it lucky. Each life you live has a purpose, a spiritual mission, if you will. The Hindu perspective sees every reincarnation as an opportunity to grow, evolve, and untangle the karmic knots that hold you back from liberation. Imagine life as a school. Each reincarnation is like advancing to the next grade. The lessons, they're tailored just for you, based on the karma you've accumulated and the growth your soul needs. Maybe you're here to master patience, learn forgiveness, or let go of material attachments. If you've ever felt like life keeps throwing the same challenges at you, difficult relationships, recurring failures, or the struggle to find peace, it's no accident. It's the universe saying, hey, you didn't pass this test last time. Let's try again. Take a moment and think about your biggest struggles right now. Are they financial, emotional, spiritual? These aren't just obstacles, they're teachers. For instance, someone born into a life of wealth might learn the emptiness of material excess, while someone facing poverty may learn resilience and gratitude. The challenges of this life are perfectly calibrated for your spiritual growth. So, what can you do about it? Start by asking yourself, what's the one thing I resist the most? Resistance often points to the lesson you need to face head-on. If you're constantly avoiding vulnerability, for example, your spiritual purpose might be to embrace it. Take small steps, have that difficult conversation, open up to a friend, or even journal your fears. Here's another trick. Reflect on your passions. Often, your purpose hides in plain sight. Love teaching. Maybe you're here to guide others. Drawn to nature. Perhaps you're meant to heal or protect the earth. By aligning your daily actions with your deeper values, you inch closer to fulfilling your spiritual mission. And here's the beautiful part. The soul never stops trying. If you don't get it right in this life, you'll get another shot. But wouldn't it be better to make progress now? Because when you start aligning with your purpose, the wheel of samsara begins to turn a little slower. But if purpose is the goal, desires are often the distraction, and that's where the role of attachments comes into play. Lesson 4. The role of desires in reincarnation. Desire is the fuel that keeps the wheel of samsara spinning. Think of it like gravity. It pulls you back life after life, anchoring you to the cycle of birth and rebirth. But unlike gravity, desires aren't a universal force. They're deeply personal. They're the cravings, attachments, and longings that keep you tethered to the material world. Here's the thing about desires. They're insatiable. You get what you want, and then what? You want more. And when those desires go unmet, they follow you, like unfinished business stamped into your soul, dragging you back for another go-round. For example, someone who dies clinging to the ambition of power might reincarnate into a life where they face the same ambition, now with lessons about humility woven in. But it's not just bad desires. Even seemingly noble ones, like the longing for love or success, can trap you. Why? Because attachment, whether to a person, goal, or idea, is like putting a leash on your soul. The tighter you hold on, the harder it is to break free. Want to break the cycle? Start small. Reflect on what you're clinging to most. Is it a relationship, a career milestone, or even a dream of the perfect life? Try this exercise. Imagine letting it go, not in defeat, but in trust. Trust that what's meant for you will come naturally. It's not about giving up. It's about loosening your grip. And here's a practical step. Practice contentment. Next time you feel the itch for something new, a bigger house, a fancier car, or even more recognition, pause. Ask yourself, why do I want this? Will it truly bring me peace? Often, you'll find that what you're chasing isn't the thing itself, but the feeling you think it will bring. Desire isn't inherently evil, but it's a double-edged sword. When managed wisely, it can guide you toward growth. When left unchecked, it chains you to the cycle of reincarnation. The key is to desire with awareness. Pursue what aligns with your purpose, not just what momentarily sparks your interest. But if desires keep us stuck, there's one thing that helps us climb higher: living in harmony with Dharma. And that's what we'll explore next. Lesson 5: Dharma and its impact on reincarnation. If reincarnation is the journey, then Dharma is the compass that keeps you on the right path. In Hinduism, Dharma isn't just a fancy word for duty. It's your life's blueprint, your moral and spiritual code that aligns you with the universe. And here's the kicker: living out your Dharma isn't just about this life. It directly influences what comes next. Think of Dharma as the balance in a cosmic ledger. Every time you act in harmony with it, you're reducing karmic debt and paving the way for higher rebirth, or even liberation from the Wheel of Samsara altogether. But ignore it. That's like ignoring your GPS and driving in circles. You'll keep coming back to the same lessons, the same struggles, over and over again. Here's where it gets personal. Your Dharma isn't a one-size-fits-all rulebook. It's tailored to you, your skills, your circumstances, even the family or culture you're born into. For instance, someone with a gift for healing might find their Dharma in medicine or caregiving, while another person's Dharma could lie in leadership or teaching. The question is, are you living in alignment with it? Start small. Look at your daily life. Are you acting with integrity? Are you fulfilling your responsibilities without resentment or laziness? Let's say you're stuck in a job you hate, but it supports your family. Living your Dharma might mean doing that job with gratitude while planning your next step, rather than complaining or cutting corners. Here's another layer. Dharma isn't just about personal duty. It's about contributing to the greater good. Think of it like this: your actions ripple outward, shaping not only your karma but also the collective energy of the world. Imagine the impact if everyone lived their Dharma, fulfilling their roles with kindness, wisdom, and purpose. But living in alignment with Dharma isn't always easy. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and often a dose of humility. That's why meditation and introspection are so important. They help you tune into your true calling. And if you're unsure what your Dharma is, start by asking yourself this: what can I give to the world that no one else can? When you align with your Dharma, everything starts to click. Challenges feel meaningful, successes become fulfilling, and the karmic chains holding you to reincarnation begin to loosen. But Dharma isn't the end of the story. There's still the bigger picture of balancing all aspects of life. Lesson 6: The Purusharthas and Reincarnation. Life is a balancing act, and in Hindu philosophy, the Purusharthas are the framework that keeps everything in harmony. These are the four goals of life: Dharma, duty; Artha, prosperity; Kama, pleasure; and Moksha, liberation. Together, they guide the soul through each reincarnation, ensuring that no aspect of life is neglected. Here's the catch. When one goal outweighs the others, the balance tips, and that's when problems arise, not just in this life, but in the next. Let's start with Dharma. As we've seen, this is your purpose, your moral compass. But it doesn't exist in a vacuum. To fulfill your Dharma, you need Artha, the material resources that allow you to thrive. Think of it this way. How can a teacher inspire students without books or a stable income? Artha isn't about greed. It's about creating a foundation for your duties. Then there's Kama, the pursuit of pleasure. Yes, pleasure. Hinduism doesn't shy away from the idea that life is meant to be enjoyed. Whether it's through art, relationships, or simple joys like a good meal, Kama is a vital part of existence. But here's the thing. Pleasure becomes a trap when it turns into excess. Ever feel like you're chasing one dopamine hit after another, only to feel emptier each time? That's Kama out of balance. Finally, there's the ultimate goal, Moksha. Liberation from the cycle of reincarnation. This is the end game, the point where the soul transcends the material world and reunites with the divine. But here's the tricky part. You can't skip the other goals to get there. Ignoring Artha or Kama in favor of spiritual pursuits often leads to frustration or even karmic debt. The Purusharthas aren't a checklist. They're a symphony, and each goal plays a part. So, how do you balance them? Start by identifying where you're overinvested. Are you so focused on material wealth, Artha, that you've neglected relationships or spiritual growth? Or maybe you're stuck chasing fleeting pleasures, Kama, while ignoring your deeper purpose, Dharma? Write down one step you can take to rebalance. For instance, if you've been neglecting Kama, take a break to enjoy something that genuinely brings you joy, a hobby, a connection, or even a moment of gratitude. Here's the key. When you live in harmony with the Purusharthas, each reincarnation becomes a step closer to moksha. It's not about rushing to the finish line. It's about finding fulfillment in every stage of the journey. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, the ignorance that keeps us from seeing the bigger picture. Lesson 7. Ignorance is a chain in reincarnation. Ignorance isn't just a lack of knowledge, it's the veil that blinds us to the truth of existence. In Hindu philosophy, this ignorance, avidya, is the root cause of reincarnation. It's what keeps the wheel of samsara turning, trapping the soul in an endless cycle of rebirths. The truth is, it's not the external world that binds us. It's our failure to see things as they truly are. Think about it. How often do we chase after illusions, believing they'll make us happy? Money, status, relationships, they're not bad in themselves. But when we cling to them, we're mistaking shadows for substance. Ignorance tricks us into thinking these fleeting pleasures are permanent, and that's where the trap lies. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. Here's a real-world example. Imagine someone obsessed with achieving a certain career title. They sacrifice everything, time, health, relationships, only to find years later that the title doesn't bring the satisfaction they expected. This is ignorance in action, the belief that external achievements can fill an internal void. So, how do you break free? It starts with awareness. Meditation is one powerful tool for peeling back the layers of ignorance. By sitting with your thoughts, you begin to see them for what they are, temporary, fleeting, and often misleading. Another approach is study. Dive into texts like the Bhagavad Gita, which offers profound insights into the nature of reality. But awareness isn't enough. Action must follow. Start questioning your daily choices. Are they driven by clarity or by illusion? For instance, when you buy something new, ask yourself, do I need this or am I chasing a momentary high? When you're upset with someone, consider, am I reacting to what they've done or to my perception of it? These small shifts in perspective can make a world of difference. Breaking free from ignorance isn't about renouncing life. It's about seeing life clearly. When you start to recognize the impermanence of the world, you stop clinging to it. And when the chains of ignorance fall away, the soul begins to glimpse its ultimate truth. But what happens when those chains loosen? That's when practices like yoga and meditation come into play, leading us to purify our karma and prepare for the next stage of liberation. Lesson 8. Practices to elevate future reincarnations. If reincarnation is the cycle and karma is the engine, then spiritual practices are the steering wheel. They give you the control to guide your soul toward liberation. The beauty of Hindu philosophy is that it doesn't leave you adrift in the sea of samsara. It offers clear, actionable tools to purify your karma and elevate your future rebirths. First on the list, yoga. And no, we're not just talking about stretching on a mat, though that's great too. True yoga is about union of the body, mind, and soul. Take karma yoga, for example, the yoga of selfless action. Every time you act without attachment to the results, whether helping a neighbor or working with integrity, you're planting seeds for a brighter future. Then there's bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. Through love for the divine, whether it's Krishna, Shiva, or simply the universe itself, you dissolve ego and align with something greater. Meditation is another powerhouse practice. By stilling the mind, you start to see through the illusions that fuel ignorance. If you're new to meditation, start small. 5 minutes of focused breathing each morning. Use a mantra like or so hum to anchor your mind. Over time, this practice deepens your awareness, helping you recognize and release the patterns that keep you stuck. Want something even simpler? Try daily gratitude. Each evening, write down 3 things you're thankful for. Gratitude shifts your mindset from lack to abundance, helping you act from a place of clarity rather than craving. Remember, even small shifts in perspective ripple forward into eternity. Here's another practice that might surprise you: intentional generosity. When you give, not out of obligation, but out of pure goodwill, you create powerful karma. Donate to a cause, mentor someone in need, or even offer your time to a local community project. The key is to give without expecting anything in return. But these practices aren't just about earning good points for the next life. They're about transforming how you live this life. Each step you take towards self-awareness, compassion, and purpose brings you closer to breaking free from the wheel of samsara. And when you combine these practices with a deeper understanding of your spiritual path, something remarkable happens. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. The soul begins to awaken, inching closer to moksha. But there's still one question left to answer. What happens when the cycle finally ends? So now you know reincarnation isn't destiny. It's a cycle, and one you can break. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep running in circles, clinging to desires and attachments, or will you take that first step toward liberation? Think about it. Every action, every choice you make today shapes not just this life, but the next. Are you planting seeds of wisdom and clarity, or are you sowing chaos and confusion? What can you change right now to elevate your soul's journey? Here's your challenge. Reflect on the lessons we've explored. What's holding you back? Maybe it's ignorance, maybe it's unbalanced desires, or maybe it's a failure to live your Dharma. Whatever it is, face it head on. Start small, whether it's through meditation, acts of selflessness, or simply pausing to question your choices. These steps aren't just spiritual, they're practical tools to transform your reality. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out the Bhagavad Gita. It's a timeless guide packed with wisdom on karma, dharma, and the soul's journey. You'll find it super affordable on Amazon, and the link is in the first pinned comment. Trust me, this book can change the way you see life and reincarnation forever. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way you'll never miss out on powerful lessons like these. And if you're hungry for more, click the card on your screen to dive into our next video. Thank you for watching, and remember, the Wheel of Samsara only spins if you let it.